Welcome to the Iceland vlog. We're finally done with it. It's been a busy wedding season and this has kind of got pushed to the back burner, but super excited to watch this with you. So pretty much I'm just going to watch our footage with you and kind of explain kind of what we were doing and what was going on. So let's hop in. Okay, we're just pulling out the driveway and double checked our like 85 bags and I think we're good to go. We left about 4 hours early. Like we planned to get to our flight 4 hours early, which was too early because you can't even get through security at that point. So we waited for a long time, and but it was good to know that we were there on time. So yeah, there's 7 o'clock is when we were finally flying. So we were there earlier than 4 hours. It was so early, but we didn't miss our flight. And once we got to Keflavik, it was 7:50. So their time. So there's a 4 hour time gap. So we were there pretty early. So this is our van. Once we got in our van, it kind of made ourselves a little home in there and packed all of our bags and hit straight to the road. Pretty much once we got on the road, Liv passed out, took a nap, and I was just kind of driving on my own, and we stopped at this spot here. And at the time we thought that was really pretty, but ended up being very ugly compared to everything else. This is our first like real stop, that carried Crater, and it was, I think it was like $5 a person to get in, so it wasn't like super exciting. It's kind of just a big crater, which was really cool at the time, but still, as we went on the trip, there was much prettier places, and we knew that it was going to be windy throughout the trip, but this spot was like crazy windy. So yeah, it was, we weren't there very long. But yeah, the water super blue. I tried to take some pictures of it, but I didn't really like many of them. So here we are. We got in our swim trunks. This is our one of my favorite spots, which is the, I don't know how you say that, Urnalog hot spring, and it was just like super weird getting into warm water in like nature. I don't know. It was crazy. We got pretty lucky because at the time there was like nobody else really at this part of it. So we kind of got our own little private warm bath, which was a great like stop after the flight because we were kind of like super tired and jet lag, and then just getting to go sit there and have nothing else to do for the day and just hang out there for a little bit was amazing. It was super nice to be able to stop and just catch our breath and look at that view. It was awesome. This is still probably one of my favorite stops of the whole trip was this. Yeah, it was, the wind was cold, but the water was like the perfect temperature. And there's this cute little shack thing. But yeah, I wanted to stay there all day. But regardless, we got back on the road and just kept on driving around. This is our first waterfall. There's a lot of waterfalls in Iceland. This one is a really long one. We kind of hiked around a little bit, took some pictures of it. Obviously, I was super excited to take my first waterfall picture in Iceland. It was a good time. It was very pretty. So our first night of camping was at what they call a campsite, but really it was just a parking lot at a restaurant. So you just paid like $25 a night to just sit in the parking lot. So really not very many amenities. They did have a bathroom and a sink. So kind of expensive for just a parking lot, but in Iceland it's not legal to just camp and park wherever. You can't do that there, so you have to go to a campsite, and there's no Walmarts to park in, so that's what we did. And we cooked dinner the first night. We brought some freeze-dried food, and we thought that would be a good idea, and it was pretty nice to be able to bring that and not have to spend a bunch of money on food, because it was pretty expensive. And Liv fell asleep pretty fast, and we got some really good sleep the first night. I actually was kind of concerned about it, and I stayed up all day the first day, and it kind of worked out great because then I felt like I had already got back onto the time zone there. Coming back was harder to get adjusted to. Here Liv is showing off this coat, so we actually partnered with Iceland Cover, and they gave us some really warm and waterproof hiking pants and layers and coats and shoes and socks, and we took a bunch of pictures for them. and it was amazing because we have warm gear but not the best like waterproof gear, so to be able to just go there and rent that, or they rent, that's like their business, and then we just traded pictures for it. But if you ever go to Iceland, definitely use Iceland cover. It was great. So this is a geyser called Geyser. Really creative naming. And then I don't even know what this spot was. We were just kind of bored driving around and kind of saw this. And it was pretty cool to see. It was just like these big, I don't know, weird rock looking things that the water flowed through. So that was kind of cool. This was a really pretty drive. It was really flat and there was just like big mountain. And then these are our first Icelandic horses. So fun fact I learned is that they actually eat their horses, or some of them, and that's why there's a lot of horses around. And that must be why they're a little bit chunkier than our horses are. But it was really, it was pretty majestic in that fog. Until we had to drive up in elevation, and the fog was not so fun. This is Reykjavik. This is like the main city. And then this is our hotel for the night. So while we were in Iceland, our first couple days were like free days, and then the second couple of days we stayed in the hotel because we were doing a wedding workshop. And the first night, with the meet and greet with everyone, we got to be able to get our pictures taken, which was super cool, to have those pictures of ourselves in Iceland. So not only did we get to take a bunch of pictures, but we also got our pictures taken, as you see here. So that was so fun, and it's so cool to be able to have those photos to look back at now. And also in the workshop, as you'll see later, it was so fun to make a bunch of new friends. Again. That's Adam taking some videos of us. And that is the big church thing back there. Not super sure.
Icelandic hot dog review. Super stinking good. It's like crunchies on the bottom. And the hot dog's made of lamb, I think, or something like that.
And this is our first car day, riding along with Adam and the gang, and we went to that waterfall. This was our first stop of our workshop, so I was super excited to get to take some couples pictures for the first time in Iceland, and I was absolutely pumped. So when they first ran out there, it was just go time, and it was wild. It was like what I had been dreaming of for the past few months, of getting to capture a couple in Iceland, and then it was just happening just like that. So we climbed up the little thing, and it was pretty cute. And then we went and took some more pictures, and at this time we each kind of got our own, because it's a group of like 10 or 12 of us photographers, and then we would kind of separate and we would each get our own turn with the couple. So this is our turn. Yeah. And then this spot, I don't know what this spot was. Our guide just took us to this little detour, and then it was just wild looking, like streams kind of funneling through this lowland. And it was definitely one of my favorite spots for the day. I've just never seen a landscape like that. So that was really cool. This one was wild. So these were just horses fenced in, and then the bride on this day was comfortable with horses, so she hopped in there and we just took some pictures of her with the horses, and that was pretty wild. I don't know if I would have done that, and then they kind of came over and it created some banger photos. It was super pretty. And then this is the same property. These people had a winding driveway. Hey guys, we are here in Iceland. I'm here with my boy Adam, my boy John, my sexy wife, and we are in Iceland. We are on day one, or like 1.5 of a photo shoot. We just did pictures with some horses, which is pretty wild. I thought they were gonna like eat her, but they didn't. And the weather has been insane. We were prepared for way worse, and it's like sunny out and barely windy, and it's incredible. We are now stopping for lunch at this little shop in the middle of these incredible mountains. We viewed the street food.
It was probably the best fried fish I think I've ever had. Pretty solid.
That restaurant was so cool because it was just this little shop, and I wish I documented it better, but it was just this little restaurant, and then around it, all the way around it, was just these big mountainsides, which you could kind of see there, and that was just so cool to see. So then we stopped at this spot, and they just kind of hopped up on this little rock thing, and as you can see, this composition with the waterfall in the back and the streams coming through, oh, it was amazing.
We're now here at what they call Skoga Foss, I believe, and we're gonna have the couple stand right there, I think. So should be a little bit wet, but should be a lot of fun.
And this is the reason why we rented wet gear, because it was wet and the couple was drenched just from the stream, or the water bouncing off the waterfall. But it was amazing. This was my first time seeing a black sand beach, and I was having a blast. It was so chirpy. I was super pumped to get to go out here, and the black sand was just so cool.
We just finished doing a couples photo shoot at this black sand beach, and it was insane. We've gotten so lucky with beautiful weather and these giant mountains, and this is probably my favorite spot so far. It's so weird seeing a beach that's black.
Please give it up for our newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Beachy!
This is our friend Adam. So the car we rode in was with Adam and John, and they were both amazing. They knew each other, and then we got to meet them, and I was so pumped to be able to ride in their car, and we had a blast. Here, Adam decided to play our first dance song for our wedding, and it was pretty funny. And here we're wrapping up the day at just another waterfall.
Good morning. This is day 2 of the workshop. It is about 7:30 and I am pretty pooped. I stayed up till like 1-ish, which is kind of late for me last night, to edit some of the photos from yesterday. And I love them. So this morning, Taylor's giving a talk till 11, and then we're heading out to a bunch more spots. And I think we're supposed to have some pretty good weather again today. So feeling very blessed to have that.
And yeah, we did have another day of beautiful weather, and I was just so pumped when we got back to the hotel that night that I was just backing up the photos on everything I had to make sure they were safe, because it was like the most exciting photos I'd ever taken. And I did stay up because I had to edit it. You have to. We've been so excited for this trip, but it was nice to getting some good sleep in the hotel. Not that we weren't sleeping good in the camper, but the hotel definitely gave us some extra rest. And you can kind of see more of the breakfast with some of the jams and jellies and meats and cheeses and that granola stuff I ate a butt ton of. And our first stop of the first day, our second day, was one of my favorite stops of that day. And it is this peak kind of overlooking this lake, and the couple just kind of walked up there, and just that composition was just breathtaking. It was so beautiful. I was just snapping as many photos as I possibly could. I was also kind of scared because they're kind of on the edge, but we had some good weather, and our veil was blowing, and it was a perfect choice for this spot. And this is just the back side of it, and we were just having a good time. This is a really cool, it was just like a little church, not like an active church, but you can see that it's just in the absolute middle of nowhere. And it looks crazy in the photos. It was wild. So this spot was one of the crazier ones to get to. I wish I took a video of what was happening here, but we took a like side road, and then we had to drive up this really steep cliff. And then when you came over the edge, you just saw like this crazy like cliff on the other side of the cliff that we drove up, but a lot steeper. And so we took some time to just kind of walk around and soak it up because I had never seen anything like that. That was amazing. I also had to sit in the back of that car because the car we were in couldn't make it up the thing that we rode, so I just sat in the back of that SUV. Okay, we are at the Cliffs of Death or something like that. I think this is the most beautiful thing I think I might have ever seen. It also looks really scary. We're about to do some sweet pictures. And it was so scary because it really does just drop off, and it truly was breathtaking. I still think that's probably one of the prettiest sights of the whole trip. Just seeing those cliffs, and you can just hear the birds like chirping in the distance. It was pretty awesome. Here you can just kind of see the birds flying around, and this was my turn here to work with the couple, and we had I think like 30 seconds to do what we wanted, so just trying to work really fast. Yeah, and this is a stop I think before lunch here. Just some rocks out here, and the couple once again just kind of hiked out there. That's one thing in Iceland, to get the good shots, your couple has to be comfortable with walking the weird places. But yeah, this is our last location of the day, and it was, I don't know what it was called, but it was also really pretty. Another big cliff. So we just finished up almost one of our last spots at this insane ridge. Might have been one of my favorite spots of the middle week, I don't know. I don't know, it was amazing, but yeah, here are the pics. So that was our last day of the workshop. So now we had 2 more, I think, free days to drive around and explore sites that we wanted to see. So we had our last breakfast at the delicious hotel breakfast here, and we ate up as much as we could. I think we even snuck some of the food in our pockets. Don't know if that's allowed or not, but it was so good we wanted to have some snacks throughout the day. Oh man. And then we hit the road to go. I had a whole map of Google Map locations I wanted to go see. So we just kind of drove around and explored. This was a really cool arch I tried to get some good pictures of, but it turned out okay. It was really windy. It was really windy on this day. And it was actually, we took forever to find a parking spot to get in there. It was just kind of hidden. This is Kirkjufell. So this is one of the more popular landscape photo destinations in Iceland. And I did really like the photo I got from this spot, but there's so many other spots that are just like hidden because there's cool stuff everywhere that this photo is just less special to me just because it's just kind of like given to you. Like, it's pretty easy. You just sit a camera on the side with wide angle and capture that sick mountain with a long exposure of the water right here. So it's cool, but it wasn't my favorite. At this point in the day, we were hungry and there wasn't much to eat around, so we ended up just cooking in the back of our camper, I think at like a gas station or something. So yeah, nothing too exciting at this point in the trip. Our camper was a little bit messy, so that was kind of frustrating. So yeah, but just beautiful. Up around that mountain actually is one of my favorite photos. It was just on the side of the road, and there's a little bridge that kind of showed you the mountain, and it was just like a little crossing bridge, and that was one of my favorite photos from the trip. And that's kind of how it happened. Is a lot of my favorite landscape photos were like the popular destination places, but just really crazy pretty things that you just see off the side of the road. One photo that I have framed up above me on our office right here, which I'll put up on the screen, was one of my favorite spots, and this was just off the side of the road again. And there was that little barn with the heart that you see right there, and that just like caught my eye. I was like, oh, that looks amazing. And then there's just like that ridge of mountains that go along the side of it. And so here's that photo. It just blew me away. And now we are at day 6 of our trip out of 7. And this is our trip to Bonus. And their shopping carts, as you see, spin on all sides. So that was kind of fun to deal with. But yeah, we took a lot of time and picked out some of our favorite snacks to try. I got some like black licorice chocolate. This is the, yep, that scene. And this is the Blue Lagoon. So the Blue Lagoon is like that hot spring at the start, but like way fancier and blue. So we're making a simple little meal with some frozen vegetables, and this is Iceland yogurt. Okay, we just got to our last campsite of the trip, and it might be my favorite. It is just this quiet little campsite on the coast, and it's like, you can't see it, but it's right next to the ocean back there. A little tired. It's been a long, beautiful day. A little bit of rain today. The sun came out now at the evening, and it's just stunning. Most of the campsites cost like $15 to like $20 or so, but this one's free, so that's kind of cool. Also, they have like cute little duck eggs you can buy. Also, they have this like cool sign thing. Update on this campsite. They have a cat and it just jumped on Lou. I have no idea. It's coming for me now. It's an evil cat. Now on our last day before we drove to the airport, we toured the big church thing that we were in front of earlier. And just kind of walked around that. So that was kind of cool to see the inside of it. And the big metal pipe things. And then we got the like really fancy Iceland hot dogs, and they were really good. I don't remember what it was, but it had a bunch of like other meats on top of the hot dog meat and then other sauces. And that was like a perfect way to leave Iceland with those hot dogs. And after we got home, we got in our car to leave Chicago, which is where we flew out of. And we got pulled over. I don't remember what time it was. And it was just because our license plate light was out. But we were struggling getting home. We were pretty tired. So yeah, that is a wrap up of our trip. And I just can't believe that was in 2023. It felt like it was so long ago. So to finish off the trip, I'll put here some of my favorite landscape photos of the trip now.